Across the vast scope of sci-fi and fiction as a whole, many stories have delved into how dinosaurs might have survived the ancient catastrophe that wiped them out. However, a small subsect of these tales reimagines dinosaurs or other types of reptiles from that land before time, evolving into sentient and advanced species just like us. There are tales of advanced reptile empires that mastered space travel and genetic engineering. There are stories of hidden kingdoms beneath the oceans and deep within the earth that are millions of years older than humanity itself. Some of these escaped Earth's greatest cataclysms, while others went into deep hibernation deep beneath the planet, while others abandoned their homeworld altogether to search for survival amongst the stars. Of course, the earliest of these tales have likely sparked or inspired numerous conspiracy theories about, the reptilian aliens, but here in this video we will only focus on fiction and what are the 7 most iconic pre-human reptilian civilizations from books, movies, games and TV shows. Let's get to it. The first one that we will discuss here are the Voth from Star Trek. So these were one of the oldest and most mysterious intelligent species in the entire galaxy, a race of highly evolved reptilian beings whose story stretched back an astonishing 65 million years to the age of the dinosaurs on Earth. They evolved from duck-billed dinosaurs called hadrosaurs that somehow survived the asteroid impact that wiped out most life on Earth at that time at the end of the Cretaceous period. Hidden away on an isolated landmass or another refuge lost to time, these survivors continued to evolve instead of going extinct, gradually developing larger brains, upright bodies, language, tool use and eventually one of the first advanced civilizations the galaxy has ever seen. For millions of years, they transformed from simple prehistoric animals into a sophisticated culture of scientists, engineers, philosophers and explorers, while the ancestors of mammals were still tiny creatures hiding in the shadows. So the Voth realized that their homeworld faced some growing dangers, and these ancient beings eventually achieved spaceflight and then left the Earth in one of history's greatest migrations, crossing unimaginable distances until they reached the Delta Quadrant, far away from Earth, where they would establish the Voth civilization. Now the second one here are the Silurians from Doctor Who. The Silurians, also known as Earth reptiles, are one of the oldest civilizations in Doctor Who, first appearing in the classic serial Doctor Who and the Silurians of 1970. According to their own history, they evolved naturally on Earth hundreds of millions of years ago before humanity, becoming the planet's first dominant intelligent species. Long before the earliest human ancestors appeared, the Silurians had already built a complete global civilization with magnificent cities, transportation networks, science, mathematics, and a planetary parliament. Their science was extraordinarily advanced, especially in genetics and biotechnology. They could resurrect extinct species, they could genetically engineer entirely new life forms, they could modify organisms into biological weapons and even altered primitive apes in ways that ultimately would contribute to the rise of humanity itself. But when they detected a celestial catastrophe that they believed would one day devastate Earth's surface and they were unable to stop it, they entered underground hibernation complexes, sealing themselves beneath the Earth for millions of years with the intention of awakening once the danger had passed. However, geological changes, shifting continents and malfunctioning systems caused many colonies to oversleep by millions of years, only awakening after humans had become the planet's dominant species. So although generally a peaceful civilization whose highest laws discouraged war except in self-defense, once they saw another race had taken their place, they were forced to try and take the planet back for themselves by force. Number 3. The Sea Devils. So these are the aquatic cousins of the Silurians in Doctor Who, first appearing in the classic serial The Sea Devils of 1972. According to their own lore, the Sea Devils evolved from an ancient branch of the Silurians over 425 million years ago, when dramatic tectonic upheavals forced a part of their population to spend more and more time in the oceans until they became fully adapted into an aquatic existence and into a different species. Although biologically distinct, the Sea Devils and the Silurians remain close relatives, sharing a common civilization that flourished hundreds of millions of years ago before humanity evolved. While the Silurians ruled the warm continents, the Sea Devils built vast underwater kingdoms beneath the Earth's oceans. Together, the two races represented Earth's original intelligent civilizations. Physically, they were powerful amphibious reptilians with streamlined humanoid bodies, with long muscular necks, webbed fingers and hands and feet, and fin-like crests extending from their heads. They would also hibernate like the Silurians when they falsely detected an upcoming cosmic catastrophe, and when colonies finally awakened in the modern era, they would find a new race called humanity had taken over the surface world. And despite often being portrayed as enemies of humanity, they were generally a peaceful species that preferred coexistence, only resorting to war when they believed that their people or their ancient birthright was threatened. Now we move on to the Cthulhu mythos. Here we have the Serpent people, also known as the Serpent folk or the Velusians, and they are one of the oldest races in the Cthulhu mythos on Earth. They made their debut in Robert E. Howard's The Shadow Kingdom of 1929, where they are revealed as ancient shape-shifting reptilian beings secretly infiltrating human kingdoms, although they were previously mentioned in H.P. Lovecraft's The Nameless City of 1921 as well. They later were referenced in Lovecraft's The Shadow Out of Time and The Haunter of the Dark. According to their legends, the Serpent people arose more than 65 million years ago, when dinosaurs still roamed the earth. Their first homeland was the mighty kingdom of Shugon, a flourishing reptilian civilization filled with immense cities with towering temples and centers of science and sorcery. However, when the catastrophe that ended the Age of the Dinosaurs also destroyed Shugon, the survivors migrated to the legendary continent of Velusia, where they built a second great empire that ruled the prehistoric world for ages. Then smaller colonies would spread across the globe within jungles, mountains, and forgotten cities. Physically, these were towering reptilian humanoids with muscular serpentine-like bodies, with scaled skin, elongated skulls, and clawed hands that allowed them to manipulate tools. But eventually, the rise of prehistoric humanity led to centuries of devastating conflict and warfare that slowly broke the Serpent people's dominance over Earth. Number 5. The Yilani. These are the dominant reptilian civilization of Harry Harrison's West of Eden trilogy. This is set in an alternate history where the asteroid that ended the Age of the Dinosaurs never struck Earth. The trilogy imagines a world where dinosaurs continue to evolve instead of mammals becoming dominant. Over the course of more than 65 million years, a branch of giant marine reptiles known as mosasaurs gradually evolved into the Yilani that built one of the most sophisticated civilizations on Earth. While humanity's ancestors remained small primates struggling to survive, the Yilani mastered science and civilization, eventually spreading across much of the world's tropical coastlines. Physically, they were graceful reptilian humanoids with upright postures, with long muscular tails, with hands equipped with 2 fingers, and also they had opposable thumbs. They were a strict matriarchal society where females controlled every aspect of politics, science, and warfare, while males occupied artistic and ceremonial roles. Their culture valued absolute order, discipline, and conformity, and they disregarded individualism. The greatest achievement, though, was their mastery of biotechnology. Rather than building machines from metal, the Yilani genetically engineered living organisms to perform every function of their civilization. Their cities were enormous living structures grown from carefully modified plants. Their clothing consisted of living creatures that generated warmth or cool. Transportation relied on bioengineered reptiles like the massive uruketos and other dinosaurs that were selectively bred into beasts of burden, war mounts, and mounts for transport. Their understanding of genetics was so advanced that virtually every aspect of their civilization depended specially on designed life forms rather than technology. But gradually they would come into contact with a human species called the Tanu, and they would have conflicts, war, and conquests in which the Yilani would find that the Tanu are hard to conquer and maybe they were the future of the Earth. So the 6th race are the Vril from Iron Sky. These are aliens, yeah, and they're not really original Earthlings, but since they came to Earth millions of years ago before humanity ever existed, they deserve a spot here. So these were inspired by the subterranean Vrilia from Edward Bulwer's 1871 novel called The Coming Race. The film here imagines them as an alien race that arrived on Earth more than 65 million years ago during the Age of the Dinosaurs. According to the film's mythology, only a few thousand of them arrived or reached Earth aboard a colossal starship, and they were led by the powerful Vril Wolfgang Horse, who was capable of channeling the immense life force known simply as the Vril. Once they arrive on Earth, They explored the world for centuries before becoming stranded when their spacecraft fell into ruin. Rather than trying to leave Earth, they discovered the vast hollow Earth and then established the subterranean city of Agartha. There they developed a highly advanced civilization which was said to have blended alien technology with mystical energy manipulation, which allowed them to perform feats that appeared magical. From this hidden civilization, the Vril survived for millions of years, preserving their advanced technology while Earth's surface changed gradually above them. Their greatest achievement, though, was the creation of humanity itself. Using Vril energy, Wolfgang Haas injected an apple with this mysterious force before feeding it to his genetically altered monkeys called Adam and Eve, thus setting human evolution into motion. As humanity spread across the surface, the stranded Vril came to regret creating such a destructive and violent species. Throughout history, the Vril secretly infiltrated surface civilizations by perfectly disguising themselves as humans, assuming the identities of influential rulers, political leaders, inventors, dictators, and historical figures in order to observe, manipulate, and guide humanity's development from behind the scenes. By the events of the film, after millions of years hidden beneath the Earth, the Vril's ultimate objective had become the reconstruction of their ancient spacecraft so they could finally emerge from Agartha to reclaim the surface world and then eradicate the very human civilization they believe they had mistakenly created millions of years earlier. Okay, so the last ones here are the Saurians from Mortal Kombat. These are an ancient reptilian race from the Mortal Kombat universe, first appearing through Reptile in the original Mortal Kombat 1992 game. According to the series lore, the Saurians evolved naturally from Earth's dinosaurs and built a thriving civilization during the late Cretaceous period, around 65 million years ago. Unlike other fictional reptilian races that left Earth by choice, the Saurians were forced to abandon their homeworld when a catastrophic war erupted between the Elder Gods. The battle between Shinnok and Raiden devastated Earth so completely that it triggered the KT extinction event, wiping out most dinosaur life. To escape extinction, the surviving Saurians fled through an interdimensional portal into the realm of Zatera, where they rebuilt their civilization and were hence known as the Zaterans, while another group remained hidden deep within the Earth's hollow Earth, surviving underground for millions of years. Physically, they were powerful reptilian humanoids with muscular bodies, and they were highly intelligent. Many possessed remarkable biological abilities, including near-perfect camouflage that rendered them almost invisible. They also had acid saliva, capable of melting steel, and they had a power to shapeshift between reptilian and human forms. After they left Earth for Zatera, their new homeworld was conquered by Shao Kahn, who destroyed the Saurian kingdom and drove their people to near extinction, leaving only a few survivors, such as Reptile and Chameleon, to fight for him. And with that, we end this video on the 7 ancient pre-human reptile civilizations of Earth in science fiction. Now with that, we end this video. Do hit the like button for support and also click the bell button for regular updates and new video uploads. Also subscribe to be a part of Legion Nutbug, and till the next time, take care, boys.